JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, murder suspect held after confrontation with cop in Westmoreland. A murder suspect was apprehended and a getaway vehicle seized moments after the murder of a man in Maysmere, Little London in Westmoreland on Saturday. Reports are that about 10:40 a.m., one of two men in a white Toyota Axle motor car shot and wounded a bike taxi operator on Top Road, Little London. A policeman was in the vicinity intervened, which resulted in an armed confrontation. The men escaped in the area, and the wounded man was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The deceased has been identified as 47-year-old Oswald Brown, otherwise called Scatter, of Ebenezer District in Little London in the parish. Shortly after the incident, the police received a voice note in a work WhatsApp group about the vehicle that was involved. A team responded to the incident where the vehicle and the suspect were seen. The suspect was immediately taken into custody and the vehicle seized. Head of the Westmoreland Division, Senior Superintendent of Police, SSP Wayne Josephs, commended the police officers for quickly acting on information that resulted in the apprehension of the murder suspect. This level of commitment and vigilance by my officers is unmatched, and I commend the team leader and the constable who responded to this voice note as soon as it was received. My team of officers demonstrated what it means to be a force for good and principles of service above self, SSB Joseph said. I must also extend appreciation to all the other team members, including my detective corporal, who intervened while the incident was in progress, putting himself at risk in the defense of law-abiding citizens. I want to use this opportunity to also recognize the role our citizens continue to play in supporting the Westmoreland Police, SSB Josephs added. Investigations are ongoing. Illegal guns seized in St. James, man being sought. The police are searching for a suspect following the siege of a gun at a house during an operation at Gravelly Hill, Duane Vale in Trelawney on Sunday. Reports from the Falmouth Police are that about 8:30 a.m., lawmen conducted an operation in the area where a premises was searched. According to the police, a Simonton Westland Springfield 9mm pistol loaded with 5 9mm rounds of ammunition was found under a pillow. The weapon was subsequently seized. However, the occupant managed to elude the police. Investigations are ongoing. Convictions overturned for cops in Vanessa Kirkland murder case. The 3 cops who were convicted for killing 16-year-old student Vanessa Kirkland had their convictions and sentences quashed by the Court of Appeal on Monday. Adrian Smith, Dervin Hales, and Anna K. Bailey walked free after a panel of 3 judges pointed to several errors by the Supreme Court judge who presided over their murder trial. The 3 were convicted of manslaughter in 2019 and sentenced to 14 years in prison. The cops, who were assigned to the then Mobile Reserve, were arrested and charged with murder and wounding with intent following a ruling from the Director of Public Prosecutions. The Immaculate Conception High School student was shot and killed on March 20, 2012 on Norman Lane, Kingston 13, about 9 p.m. The prosecution led evidence during the trial that the cops drove onto Norman Lane in Kingston on the night in question and fired on a blue Suzuki Swift motor car that was parked along the road. Kirkland and 6 other occupants who were inside the car were shot. The teenager subsequently died. Lawyers who represented the policemen had argued that they were acting in self-defense when they discharged their weapons. They maintained that they were searching for the vehicle after they were alerted that occupants of the car had robbed a man of his cell phone. The cops said they were fired on by 2 men inside the car. Following their convictions, the cops filed an appeal. They argued, among other things, that the sentence was manifestly excessive. Man accused of stealing money from parked car charged. A man accused of breaking into a car and stealing money has been charged by the police. He is 45-year-old Craig Talbot, a vendor of Phase 1 Seaver Gardens housing scheme, St. Andrew, who is charged with simple larceny. The alleged incident happened along Ocean Boulevard in Kingston on Friday, April 21. Reports from the Central Police saw that about 2 p.m., a man locked his motor car and went to conduct business. Upon his return, he reportedly saw a man exiting his vehicle and entering a Toyota Corolla motor car, which sped away from the scene. He checked his vehicle and reportedly discovered that money which he had withdrawn from a bank earlier was missing. The man contacted the police and the car was intercepted by a team from the St. Andrew South Police Division with Talbot and another man aboard. The police said the vehicle and both men were searched and over $350,000 along with cell phones were found inside the vehicle. They say the man later identified Talbot as the person he saw exiting his car. He was arrested and charged and is slated to face the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, April 28. I love you, a dangerous thing. The conflict and wanton use of insulting words over money are the main drivers of the thousands of incidents of domestic violence across Jamaica, according to Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP Jacqueline Dillon. Money in the sense that persons make demands on their partners, knowing that they don't have the capacity to fulfill those demands. So I take up a man who's a farmer, and I know he could only afford to give me $5,000 per week. But the moment I have a child, I want $10,000 and $15,000. That is the bottom line. Dillon, head of the response team manning domestic violence intervention centers, DVICs island-wide, said last Friday, during an official tour of the South St. Catherine DVIC at the Greater Portmore Police Station. According to police data, 8,146 cases of domestic violence were reported across the island last year. Of that number, 1,324 cases were referred to the DVICs island-wide, which also recorded 1,720 intimate partner violence cases and 924 family violence cases, with more than 650 of those reports made by children. Males are also reporting to the DVICs, with 743 cases between January and October 2022. Cases reported by females, however, continue to outstrip the males nearly 3 to 1 and stood at 2,201 by October 2022. Currently, there are 10 DVICs island-wide domiciled at police stations. Each DVIC is run by a trained cop offering intervention through counseling, referrals, law enforcement intervention, protection, follow-up, home visits, and other services based on need. Dillon pointed out that cases involving physical violence are not in the majority seen by DVIC staff. Most of what we're seeing is emotional abuse. You got big, your head big, you're black and ugly, your breast then drop down, you're good for nothing. Words, our language, our mouth is our greatest problem when it comes down to domestic violence, because we haven't learned to communicate effectively without having to destroy people's self-esteem. I could go on from now till next year, the senior cop said. She also said a twisted view of love is at the heart of many of the fallouts between intimate partners. You see this thing about I love you? Love is a dangerous thing when you don't understand what love means. Because love doesn't mean obsession. Love doesn't mean coercive thinking. Love doesn't mean coercive control, she said passionately. Love means, I love you and I'll protect you, but I'm not going to harm you. The love thing is a misconception among many persons. When they talk about love, they mean sex. People have to understand love and what it means, DSP Dillon said. Me and my partner are in a relationship, but if I move over there, my partner must know. If I'm going to the toilet, my partner needs to know how long I'm staying on the toilet. If I leave work, my partner needs to know why it takes so long for me to reach home. Yes, you want to protect me, but why do you need to be tracking me? She asked to emphasize her argument. It's obsession, and people don't understand the difference between love and obsession. That is one of the major factors in relationships. It's always about, I love him and I love her, and I have to protect her. But at the end of the day, the protection can't come when I'm down the road talking to a co-worker, and you come and the first thing you do is box me in the face because you don't like the way I stand up talking to my co-worker, DSP Dillon said. Updating Linda Maguire, UNDP Deputy Director in Latin America and the Caribbean, who was in Jamaica as part of a 3-nation mission, Dillon said the centers, which operate beyond the boundaries of the parishes in which they are located, have helped to rescue people from other countries, including the Bahamas, India, and the United States, who are victims of domestic violence while here in Jamaica. Staff at the centers work with international law enforcement officers to resolve the issues. There were 8,746 domestic violence cases reported across the island last year. A total of 1,324 cases were referred to the DVICs compared to 1,145 in 2021. In 2022, DVICs island-wide recorded 1,720 intimate partner violence cases and 924 family violence cases, with more than 650 reports made by children. Maguire on Friday said that while she did not have statistics on hand to see how Jamaica squared off with other countries, as far as incidents of domestic violence were concerned, the problem is spread by different issues. In some countries, it's as a result of toxic masculinity, what we expect of our men and boys, the culture of violence, and some of it is economics. In other parts of the region and Latin America as well, we do see children in the center, which is very, very sad, she said. 5 males killed in road crashes last week, says RSU. 5 males, including 2 pedestrians and 3 motorcyclists, perished in motor vehicle accidents during the week ending April 21, according to the latest statistics released on Friday by the Road Safety Unit, RSU. The latest victims have pushed the number of people killed in traffic crashes this year to 128 from a total of 116 fatal crashes. The RSU said fatal crashes have decreased by 7%, while fatalities have decreased by 9% when compared with a similar period in 2022. Based on the unit's projection, fatalities for the first quarter of the year should decrease by 3% when compared with 2022. Meanwhile, the RSU is reporting that so far, pedestrians account for 25% of the road users killed as of April 21, 2023. It is also reporting the following. Motorcyclists account for 30% of the road users killed as of April 21. Drivers of private motor vehicles account for 13% of the road users killed as of April 21. Passengers of private motor vehicles account for 6% of the road users killed so far this year. Vulnerable road users, pedestrians, pedal cyclists, motorcyclists, and pillion riders account for 66% of the road users killed as of April 21, 2023. Overall, passengers account for 23% of the road fatalities, and the RSU said males and females account for 92% and 8% respectively of the road fatalities as of April 21, 2023. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.